Hello, welcome to another layout update on the Severn Valley Railway in Simon's Shed. Coming up, finishing the Severn Valley loop, runaway train, soldering tip, and station track laying. Let's get straight on and show you what I've been up to. So, to tidy up the section of track I was working on in the last update, that was the Severn Valley line, which is at the one end of the shed here, and it's this line here that curves around. That's going to be the Severn Valley line on the way to Arley. And I was just trying to put in a temporary bridge, which, as you can see, is now done. So I've just cut in a section here that's nice and easy to remove. Just got joiners here and here, so while this is all solid and this side is all solid, this can easily be taken out and replaced with a bridge. So now that completely comes around from Arley and carries on. So there will be water under here, over the water and into the valley, and sort of less and less countryside, more and more industrial as it gets towards Kidderminster, and that's where it gets into Kidderminster. Which leads me on nicely to the other bit that I've done since the last update. So just to get you up to speed with where I am now, as I say, this is coming into Kidderminster. And so far I've got the boards ready, so that's new since last time. So I think I showed you the supports, but I've now got the got some boards on there and figured out where this return loop is going to merge in, and figured out where I need to end the boards this side as well. None of this track is laid on this bit, it's just laid out but not laid, just so I know that I've got enough, and I've got it in my head what I actually need to do. So yeah, we need a couple of tracks off here, and this needs to split out into this point, a couple of tracks for the other side. So that's the next job, I think, is to get that that bit of track laid. Just one quick thing that I will mention. Soldering does cause people a few problems sometimes. It certainly has caused me problems in the past. I thought I got it sussed, and all the soldering for the track on this layout was going really well. And then I ran out of solder, so I bought some more and carried on, and suddenly seemed to lose the ability to solder. Now, what I bought was just ordinary sort of microelectronics solder, whereas the solder that I ran out of was this stuff, Car's Speedy Solder. And I think what it is, the ordinary stuff that I bought has a melting temperature that's higher than this. I think this is about 220 and this is about 180 degrees. So what was happening is, as I was putting a bit of solder on the tip of the iron, with this stuff, with the new stuff, it was actually setting before it got through. It had sort of flowed through the wire and onto the rail underneath. So I bought this originally because I think I must have read a recommendation for somewhere, but I didn't realise how good it was until I ran out of it. So just thought that was worth mentioning. Now that I've restocked, I bought a couple of bags of this. You can't get it from that many places. I think Antics do it, and there's a few websites you can get it off. But yeah, definitely recommended. And as I say, I didn't realise how good it was until I didn't have any left. So what I do is just dip the end in a little bit of flux, Car's green flux I'm using. Make sure the tip of the iron is nice and clean, and let's get a little bit of solder on the tip, and I'm soldering right next to the, trying to get my arm out of the way. So that's all it takes, and there we go. Quite a strong solder joint. So that's all it takes, that one little touch, to get it all flowed through the wire and onto the rail. I know you're supposed to, if you're doing it the textbook way, you're supposed to heat up the job. In other words, you would hold it on the rail, get all that hot, get all the wire hot. But obviously, especially in end gauge, if you're soldering there right next to a plastic sleeper, you're just not going to be able to do that. So as I say, with this solder, you just seem to have to touch it and it just solders on beautifully. Okay, a bit of a momentous occasion. I've got the third and final loop linked up. As you can see, I've still not done the track in the station bit, or most of it, yet. What I decided to do first was get this loop linked up, which is this track going down here. I've had the two loops over this side linked up for quite a while, so it's good to finally get the third loop linked, and I think before I do anything else, I'll give that loop a bit of a test. So here comes the test train. And it comes back into Kiddy here. Now, we have a problem. So yeah, as it comes in, I'm glad I did that test. It seems fine here. So this is where the platform's going to be, and it links into this track here. And it seems to be this curve here somewhere, this sort of S bend. Doesn't look particularly tight, but there's obviously something about it that uncouples the loco every single time. If it's above, unless it's going really slowly. If it's going really slowly, then it makes it, but otherwise it just uncouples and we have a runaway train. So glad I did that test. I have to sort that out. Hopefully I can just tweak from sort of here, smooth this out a bit, maybe adjust the angle of this. Otherwise I think I'm going to have to go back to here really and start moving that outwards a bit so it's more of a straight line, but we'll have a play with that. So I'm glad I didn't lay all 4 lines into the station and then have to move them. So let's see if we can get that sorted. So all I had to do, as you saw, was just cut away the glue under there and just straighten out this a little bit. I haven't glued it back down yet. There we go. Obviously running that a little bit faster than the trains would normally go across here, just to give it a good test. And just had to snip a bit off the ends, because obviously straightening it out made it a shorter distance than the biggest curve. So I think we'll call that a success. So now that's sorted, I'm back on laying the tracks for the platforms at the Kidderminster SVR station. So a bit more progress made. I've got these two lines down, and obviously the glue is currently drying. Going into this point here, and this little bit head shunt, is it called, where the loco can uncouple, come into here and then run round. And I've measured roughly via the measurement feature on Google Maps the platform width, which is about 7 meters, and that corresponds almost exactly to 3 bits of track locked together like that. So I've put that there just to remind me how wide the platform's going to be. It's quite a wide platform at that station, and then obviously the 2 tracks coming off this point will have to go this side, so that's the next job to do. But I just thought I'd show you that bit more progress. So we have some more progress on the track laying. Had a good day yesterday, managed to lay quite a bit of track, which should be dry now. The PVA should be dry under all that white. But yeah, it's time to reveal the track and give it a test. There we have the first arrival, and it's died. Brilliant. Right, jumped the gun a bit there. As the train came in, obviously stopped here, and I found that this whole track from there to there was completely dead. So after a bit of digging around, discovered that the dropper wire had just come off there. So I managed to poke it back up through the board, and it's that red one there, and just about soldered it on. Kind of melted a bit of the underlay, but never mind. So that's now got power. Also found that these 2 tracks, the other side, had no power at all either. But that one was an easier one to solve, or to at least diagnose. Probably be something to do with that. So I need to whack some connectors on there and get those plugged into the DCC bus. But also, despite it sitting overnight, you can see that some of the PVA is still a bit wet. And that's because it's been down to freezing outside. I have the heater on when I'm in here, but obviously not during the night, so yeah, it's got a bit cold. So let's get that wired up and have another go. Now I've actually got the dropper wires connected and that connection resoldered. the first train arrives at Kidderminster Severn Valley Station. So that's all the progress I've got for this update, but that just leaves one more section of track to lay, which is over here, and it's the section with the turntable. So off of this point we have a line out, and it will link into that point there and go back and then forwards into a line here, and the turntable somewhere here, and a little sort of head shunt line after the turntable, and then another line going down this way, possibly into the new Kidderminster diesel depot shed. But we'll see. I might model it the way it is as of sort of the last couple of months, which is with the new diesel shed, or I could just leave it as sidings, which is how it was before. I have actually bought the turntable and pretty much built it. I've not gone any further than this because the handrails for the top are quite delicate, so I didn't want to stick those on yet. But that's ready to go. I might well motorise it, we'll see, probably will. So I just need to make sure I've got enough clearance underneath, so I'll probably aim for the middle of it to be somewhere around here in case I need to drill through this bottom layer as well. So that's one of the next things to do. The other thing will be point motors, and as you can see I've ordered half of them. These are the DCC Concepts Cobalts, the IP Digital, the new ones. So we've got 12 of those ready to go. So I may do a separate video on these, reviewing them, but I have already got a Cobalt Digital review video up. So yeah, these will all need programming and installing under the baseboard. So that's one of the next jobs to do. But for now, we will leave it there. So I hope you enjoyed the update. I'll see you soon.